Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, apologies, I haven't posted in the last couple of weeks, but it's not because I've not been on plan or I've not been sticking to it or I've fallen off the wagon. It's simply because I couldn't attend group for the last 2 weeks. So there was no point in me putting a video out if I've not actually weighed in, because my channel's all about my weight loss journey at the moment and I've basically not been going to group, so that's the reason why. And again, I have been sticking to plan where I could do. I've not been 100% on plan the whole of the 2 weeks that I've been off of it, but I'll obviously explain that in a second. But yeah, basically I didn't go to group 2 weeks on Monday because it was Alana's 5th birthday. You can imagine I had a million and one things to do, so obviously I couldn't go to group. I just had too much to do. And then we were celebrating in the evening after she got home from school. Can I just say, I can't believe I've got a 5-year-old. I feel like she was only born yesterday, so that is just mental. And then Monday previous, just gone, me and my husband actually went away to London for the weekend and we didn't get back until late on Monday evening. My mum had the kids at our house, so again, I just literally couldn't attend group. So in that meantime, I've obviously been to group today, and stepped on the scales, faced the scales, whatever you want to call it. But obviously I'll get into the nitty gritty of whether I've had a loss, a maintain or a gain this week. But when it was Alana's birthday, I didn't stick to plan that day. I wasn't following my calories, or should I say counting my calories. I wasn't following the plan. If you are new here, I do go to Slimming World for accountability and for that weight loss support, and then also for the principles of Slimming World of, like, you know, lots of fresh fruit, vegetables, cooking from scratch, etc. But then I also do count my calories because I am very aware that I can very easily overeat on free food and stuff. So I am counting my calories, I'm watching my protein and I'm watching my fibre. I'm trying to make sure that I get plenty of water in. I'm trying to prioritise sleep, keep stress-free, get steps in, all that jazz, because I'm seeing it as very much as a whole rounded approach to my weight loss rather than just focusing on one element of like my diet only, if that makes sense. So obviously I know that things are going to get in the way. Life is going to throw curveballs. I'm not going to be able to be on plan for certain reasons, and Alana's birthday and then going away that weekend were the two reasons. Yes, when we went to London, I probably could have tracked, but would I have had a good time? Definitely not. We stayed in a hotel, alcohol was involved, we were eating out, breakfast, you can imagine. So I really didn't want to track that weekend, and that is absolutely fine. Alana's birthday, I was obviously getting involved. It's a celebration. She's my last daughter, but I still have Kobe. He's my last child. So I do have 4 children in total. 2 quite older ones and then 2 littlies that I like to call them. So I'm going to celebrate a birthday. We always have a little tradition in our family that whoever's birthday it is, be it, you know, me or my husband or one of the children, whoever's birthday it is, they get to pick what evening meal we have. Be it something that I cook. If they want me to cook something for them, I will do. Or 100% of the time, let's face it, 100% of the time, we either get a takeaway of their choice or we go to a restaurant, again, of their choice. And Alana being 5, she absolutely loves McDonald's. She calls it Donald's. Her and Kobe both call it Donald's. And so that's what we had. And I wasn't missing out on a birthday. So I will fully admit that I had McDonald's for my dinner that evening. And then her birthday cake was this amazing, like, Victoria sponge full of raspberry and cream. Oh, it was absolutely gorgeous. And I had a couple of slices of that as well, because again, I'm not missing out on my daughter's birthday. So yeah, apart from them, then I was being good in between. I was tracking in between, which was good because I do feel like it'll balance out the bad almost. Yes, I might not get amazing weight losses or any weight losses at all, but I do know that it will have balanced out the bad that I was doing at least, or not be as severe putting on weight as I expected. So I didn't bother weighing. There was no point at all because I wasn't going to group. I don't want to get myself in a negative mind space. So I just left it those 2 weeks. I've only weighed when I got back from being away last Tuesday. So Monday last week, I finished the week off eating whatever I wanted. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that I went silly and just stuffed my face. I just had a normal dinner and snacks, etc. But didn't count anything. And then Tuesday morning, I got up and I weighed. I'm not going to go into the details of how much I weighed, because a lot of the weight, I think it's a little bit pointless. Because yeah, I did put weight on. I will admit that 100% I put weight on. The last time I weighed at Slimming World, which was, what would it have been? So today, so it'd have been like 3 weeks ago. The last time I weighed at Slimming World, I was 14 stone 7. And I had put a little bit of weight back on. Not ridiculous amounts, not stones or anything like that. I had put a fair few pound on. But I know that it's not true weight gain, because I was eating obviously a saltier diet. I was eating a lot more carbs. I was drinking alcohol, you know, sugar, all that sort of stuff. I was completely out of my normal eating. So I know that a lot of the weight that I will have gained was just water, not true fat that I've put on that I now need to lose. So yes, I stepped on the scales. I recorded it down. I accepted it. And then my mindset from then was not to like try and get off as much as weight as possible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love that, absolutely. But my aim for last week up to this Monday was to get back to 14 stone 7, or get a little bit below that. That was my aim. That's what I was hoping to do. And I knew that it was doable. It was definitely doable if I did one thing. And that was that if I adjusted my calories, which I have done. I've not adjusted them ridiculous, so don't worry, I'm not doing anything ridiculous. But I do know that I was previously on 1,000, almost like 1,900 calories. For me to eat that throughout the week, I know that I lose on average about £1 a week to be hitting that kind of calorie. £1 to £2 a week. So I knew that I needed to adjust them a little bit just to initially get that bit of weight that I'd put on, but then also to try and get to that maintenance versus, you know, a little bit of a loss. So I needed, to adjust my calories, and that's what I've done. And again, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of it, because I do think that everyone has to do what they need to do in order to lose weight. What works for me isn't necessarily going to work for someone else or someone else or someone else. And what I do is very personal to me, like whatever you might do. So for me to be adjusting my calories, I don't know how to explain it. I just know that I needed to do it in order to get back to what weight I was, and to try and get at least a little bit of a loss this week. To just basically get me back on track. And that's what life's about, isn't it? You know, you deviate off a little bit for whatever reason, and then you just get yourself straight back on track. If I'd have continued to eat the calories that have already been set, then I would still be today holding all that weight that I gained when we went away and for Alana's birthday and stuff. I would still be holding on to that weight. And for me personally, and obviously again, everybody's completely different, I know for me personally, it would have put me in a negative headspace that, oh, it's not working, I'm not going to do it anymore, I can't help but, you know, keep putting weight on, yada yada yada. And I know that that's how my brain goes, even though in reality I should know that, well, hang on a minute, Andrea, you've eaten what you've wanted, you've drank what you've wanted. Of course you're going to put weight on. That's the realistic side of me. However, the irrational side of me would have just gone, sod it. Absolute sod it. Let's just eat and drink whatever we want from now on, because it's clearly not working. Even though there was a reason why I'd put weight on. But that's just how my brain works. So I've lived with myself for quite a long time. I know how I need to react to these situations. And I did feel like pulling back on the calories a bit more. And again, I've not gone drastic. I've not gone ridiculous. I've not starved myself all week or anything like that. Nowhere near like that. But I knew that if I could pull back on them a little bit, then I'm gaining that control back, because I will see the scales move and I'll be happy with the results. So with that being said, am I going to continue on these calories? for another week? And I think the answer is going to be yes. I've got to say, yes, it's been a bit of an adjustment because I've overindulged while I've been off plan. So I have got used to basically eating whatever I want. However, I'm enjoying this control back, and I am really enjoying seeing the scales move in my favour. So that's a bit of a spoiler alert of how today's gone when I've got on the scales. But I am really enjoying seeing the scales move. And I think once I get this week out of the way, this next week, and see how the scales go for next Monday, will determine of whether I continue this path or whether I go back to my original calories. So yeah, I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, but for this next week I'm definitely going to stick on the calories and the macros that I've done, because I just want to see that it's not just a reaction from me putting on weight to then lose a lot in total, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, the numbers, the nitty-gritty. I went to group today. The last time that I weighed in at Slimming World, I was 14 stone 7. So like I said, my aim was to get to maintenance, to maintain this week, or to lose a little bit. And I'm very happy to say that I did get to 14 stone 7, but also plus some. And I got to 14 stone 4 pounds, which means the last time I weighed in at Slimming World, I've lost 4 pounds, 3 pounds, not 4 pounds. It's because I've said 14 stone 4. I lost 3 pounds at group today, which is amazing. I am so, so happy. Yes, it is a little bit more from when I weighed last Tuesday, but again, I'm not counting that. I'm not counting that because I know that was like water weight from everything that I ate and drank. I was going from the 14 stone 7. So from the last time I've weighed at group, I keep doing that 4. I would have liked 4, but I'm extremely happy with 3 pounds. So yeah, 3 pounds off this week. More than chuffed, more than happy. And it's because I've seen such a good weight loss that I've lost that initial gain, and then I've also lost that I'm going to do this again for another week and just make sure that it's not a fluke. But this past week has just shown how much it's worked. It's just all about bending and flexing to whatever is working or whatever is going on in my life at the moment. And like I say, social events. I know now that I can do these social events, and I know how to pull it back to get straight back on track again. And I think that has been a bit of a light bulb moment, because it has been one of my biggest downfalls throughout the whole of my dieting journeys. And when I say journeys, I mean like for years and years and years. I would have an event, or I'd have something going on, something that would take me off my track of my dieting, and then that would derail me completely, because I'd put the weight on, I'd try going back to how I was doing it before, or I wouldn't do it 100%, or whatever would happen, and it would completely derail me. Whereas now, I really do feel like over the, especially this year that's happened, I really feel like a lot of things have come into focus for me, and there's light bulbs going off left, right and centre, and I'm learning so much about my own nutrition and how my body works and how my brain works and how I think. And I really do feel like me bending and flexing so much has just brought me nothing but knowledge to help me continue the way that I am doing. And I really hope that it continues. I can't ever speak for future Andrea. I can't ever speak for her, and nor would I want to, because I don't want to put words in my mouth now that I'm going to regret later on. But I really do feel like I'm giving myself the tools to be successful going forward, even when I get to target. When I get to target, and if I put a bit of the weight on, then I know how to pull it back, and I'm not going to let myself run away with it. Like, yeah, I had 2 weeks there where I had 2 quite big things going on, but in between I was being good. I was straight back on it in between, and I knew that I had these events that were happening, and I was fine with it. I'd do it, I'd have it, I'd enjoy it, and I'd move on, and I'd get straight back on track. And I really do feel like I'm building those tools for sustainability in the future, basically, with my weight loss journey, so that I'm really not going to be nearly 17 stone ever again and having to start my weight loss journey from scratch, because I don't ever plan on doing that. Nobody ever does. But I really don't think I ever am gonna be. I really don't think I am, because I really do feel like I'm genuinely building the tools to go forward, maintain when I get there, and to just continue losing the weight. And I'm really happy about how it's gone. And like I say, I feel like I've got control of the reins of my life and of my weight loss journey. I really do. Sorry if that sounds very like a bit OTT, but it is genuinely how I'm feeling. It really is how I'm feeling, and I'm being very honest here. I'm always honest. Again, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm very honest. I will say when black's black and white's white. I will say there's no grey with me. It's one or the other. And yeah, I just feel really happy with how it's going at the moment, because I could have quite easily come on here and said I've had a couple of weeks off, a few weeks off, and I've put all this weight on, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But I thought, nope, just get straight back on it. Let's alter, adjust, because we've put some weight on. So let's just refocus, retweak, let's bend, let's flex, let's get this back off and get straight back on track. And that's what I've done. And I'm really, really happy with myself for doing it. Because like I said, I could have quite easily come on here and be telling you what gain I've got, what gain I've had and why. I could have quite easily been doing that. But I've not let myself. I was like, no, Andrea, you've enjoyed it. There's no reason to drag it out. Don't see next Monday as I'm starting again, because I'm starting on a Tuesday and it's not a Monday. Because again, my OCD is like Monday, fresh start. And I thought, no, not doing it. I'm doing it on the Tuesday. So that's what I've done. So yeah, like I say, the facts and figures. So that means I'm 14 stone 4 pound now, which is the 24th of March, which means I'm 2 stone 9 pound down. In total, I want to lose 6 stone in total. Yeah, and I think I'm like a decent chunk there. So if I can lose another 3 pound for next week, which is what I'm aiming for, I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm aiming for 3 pound, then yeah, I'm well on my way to getting that 3 stone off completely. And then I'm well on my way to getting my target of 11 stone. So yeah, fingers crossed. However, I do have another flex in my track tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going for a big walk up Pendle Hill. So me and a few girls from work are going up Pendle Hill, which is absolutely fine. It's all, you know, exercise, which is great. I'm definitely going to get my steps in tomorrow. Definitely going to get my water in, because I'm going to be chugging loads of it. However, we have decided that when we come down the other side, we're going to go to a pub. Sells food, obviously sells alcohol, and we are going to have a couple of drinks and we're going to get something to eat. But it's okay, because it's just going to be one meal. And yes, I'm going to have a couple of drinks. However, literally only a couple, because it's a Tuesday afternoon. I'm not going to get myself leathered by any means. And I'm hoping that all the walking that I'm going to be doing and all the water that I'm going to be drinking is going to help counterbalance anything that I eat and anything that I drink. And then the rest of my meals are all obviously going to be on point. I can still be in my fasting window because it's going to be tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, I don't think that's going to cause a blip. I really, really don't. As much as I'm not going to be eating an unplanned meal. However, the pub that we're going to does have all the calories on the menu, so that's really, really good. And I am going to do a sensible option. I'm not going to choose the highest calorific thing. I'm going to choose something that I'm going to enjoy, but I'm also going to be sensible with the amount of calories that I eat as well. Especially because I know that I'm going to have like a couple of beers as well. So yeah, we shall see what next Monday holds. I'm excited to see. I'm hoping I can get another £3 off, but time will obviously tell. And then yeah, I will stick to everything once I've done this for a few weeks, because again, I don't want to, as much as I'm sharing my dieting journey and my trials and tribulations, which let's face it, life throws plenty at you. As much as I'm sharing my dieting journey, I don't want to negatively influence anyone else with what I'm doing. That if I'm seeing these results, then you must do what I'm doing. So that is literally the only reason why I've not said what calories I'm on, how much weight I gained, how much weight in total I've lost, because I did lose a decent chunk. But I'm only focusing obviously on what I've lost at Slimming World. I'm not sharing that because, again, I don't want to negatively influence anyone, which obviously it's gone positively in my favour. The scales have shown that it has, and the way that I'm feeling and the way that I've been able to maintain it and how it's adapted with my life. It has been a positive approach for me, but for other people it might not be. And until I know that it's working and that it's sustainable and that, I mean, it is healthy because I'm obviously following macros and stuff like that, and I am eating plenty to fuel my body, but I don't want to share the details in case someone on a whim is just like, right, that's what I'm going to do, and then it goes negatively for them, or it brings back old demons that they've, you know, tried so hard to fight, or yeah, I just don't want to do any of that. So that's why if I'm very candid normally about what I speak about, and that's why I've been a little bit more so today, just because, again, I don't want to negatively influence anyone. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you understand. I'm just being mindful of what I'm putting out there, basically. I am very conscious though that this lighting is getting shocking. I feel like I'm disappearing, like I'm turning into a ghost because it's so bright in here. But yeah, I'm just very conscious of what I'm putting out there because people can be easily influenced, and again, what works for me might not work for someone else, and I don't want to put that negatively out there for someone to follow, if that makes sense. So I hope you appreciate and understand why I've not gone into the nitty-gritty. Not that I'm holding any secrets, or that I'm trying to keep it from anyone, or that I'm doing something that I shouldn't do. That is completely wrong. It is literally just because I am very conscious of what is out there on the internet, and that people can quite easily get swept up, and it might not work for them the way that it does for other people. So yeah, that's why I'm just trying to be mindful. So I hope you don't mind. Anyway, I think I've talked for quite enough time. Gonna go to group again next Monday, see what the scales say. Fingers crossed it's the £3 that I'm hoping for. Let me know in the comments how you're getting on, what weight loss plan you're on. A lot of people tell me how they get on, but they don't always tell me what plan that they're following, because I know me personally, I follow a variety of different plans here on YouTube. I watch all sorts of different people. So yeah, just pop them in the comments. Let's see how you guys are getting on as well. That's if you're on a weight loss journey. You might not be, you might just enjoy watching this kind of content, which that is absolutely fine as well. But yeah, fingers crossed for a loss next week. Let's see what it is. If I don't see you before, I will see you next Monday. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye.